Hello, friends. I'm Avdhendra. Friends, I'm talking a little bit out here with you about the international relations on which the new development that is happened since Mr. Trump joined the office. Mr. Xi Jinping, the president of China, and Mr. Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, took a video conferencing call in which both the leaders emphasized actually, and very key facts I'm going to share with you, which is very much you know have a value because Mr. Xi Jinping before that I do uh, keenly watch what the key leaders around the globe says. Mr. Xi Jinping never actually pronouncing that this particular word called as multipolar world order. Now, this is very first time in my conscience. Mr. Xi Jinping used this word while talking with Mr. Putin. Multipolar world order means the multipolar Asia. Mr. Jaishankar always saying that only this can be possible only if there is a multipolar Asia. I'm, you know, drawing this very narrative, very, statement and saying that why there is pushback or pulling the military from Indian Ladakh region. They stand up. They are cooling down the effect. China, why, is pulling back his army from the Indian LAC border. This is very important because he is saying that there is a realignment at the world order. Do they understand that India is a polar? Or everybody knows that only recognition is needed. India emerging as a regional and global power. So China can afford to engage adversarially with India? Can they take the approach to that they actually took in 2020 Galwan incident? This very nature, the looking towards India, the perception about India, the taste from India, the leadership taste, and the stress test in politics, they pressured Indian leadership. They threatened India. They had perception about India differently. But the courage, the stress test, the Indian leadership, gave the taste to the Chinese leadership. Chinese leadership to understand that this is not a uh, time, and India must have to be given due share. So that's why he came to the negotiation table right now seeking India's cooperation to establish this region. There is trust deficit, a huge gap, which Mr. Modi wanted to cover up. But Mr. Xi Jinping actually broke up and widens the gap, amassed a lot of troops into the border. Mr. Second term of Mr. Modi When he came to office in 2019, he immediately, I think, uh, two and three times annual meeting they had started, to make the relationship more, strain free. But in 2020, when they got the opportunity, uh, they misread actually India's approach towards, because India stepped up 370 and 35A. So Chinese may have misunderstood the India's intentions. That's why I think they amassed a lot of soldiers there at the border. So my intention that Mr. C is accepting that in the multipolar order are emerging. As a result, multipolar Asia is emerging. So the hyphening, hyphening of Russia-China is very important. Okay, to contain the Western effect and to contain the Chinese effect in Asia, Russia needs India. It's my, inference. I do draw like that. Because Mr. Putin, what Mr. Putin said, I'm reading for you. He is seeking equality with China, mutual benefits, shared interest, and equality. How can China be equal to Russia? Russia can be a vassal state in this scenario if you read up, completely. Relationship is how strong you are. Means you have a billion plus people, you are the civilizational state, you have technological progress, you have economic power. What is your global understanding? Who is your friend? Who is your enemy? Complete a set of relationship is not just emotional relationship. It's rational and rationally driven. You know what is your strength? So how you can be equal? 100 cannot be equal to 10 in mathematics. Okay, even 100 cannot be equal to 10 if you can assume it. Okay, that is another thing. But China and Russia is very much different thing. And Russian people are very much few in numbers. Okay, compared to China, 1.4 billion plus people in China. Okay, so they are also economically, $19 trillion economy. Chinese economies, Russian economies, two and three, I think $2.5 billion. Okay, $1 trillion. So the Chinese economy and Russian economy, and yes, technologically they are, some degree in defense sector. Russians are advanced. It is accepted, but the Chinese is exploring, developing technology every day. Okay, so they will definitely are leading, or some degree even Chinese are advanced. Okay, so I do not, that's why Mr. Putin said in his statement, China and Russia relationship are based on. He's saying that shared interest, equality, and mutual benefits. Noting that, noting they don't depend on internal political factors. There is internal political factors and current international environment. Okay, so must have to understand this particular word called as equality. Does Russia seeking equality with China? Because Western analysts are saying that yes, Russia is becoming the vassal state of uh, uh, China. So if Russia loses the equality term with China, will he exercise what kind of relationship they will develop with India? That's why Mr. Garcetti, the ambassador, the former ambassador right now, the United States said that Russia would not help India when India will go with war with China. It is United States will help. Okay, he was saying that literally. He said that. Okay, so will equality is one thing. It gives you the freedom to make your own relationship. But if you compromise this particular word, then for how your relationship would be with India. Okay, so Russia is definitely not like that. I don't subscribe the theory that Western analysts actually saying that they are Russia is a different kind of country. It cannot be taken for granted. Okay, they are rich civilizational cultures. They are technologically advanced. They have never accepted anybody's subjugation. They are free society. They cannot be treated like a vassal state. Whatever the numbers they could have, they are per capita income. They are literally advanced. $12,000, I think, plus they have. But, okay, so they are equivalent to the Chinese. Okay, so the trade in between Russia and China is in 2024 is 244.8 billion dollar. That means 245 billion dollar. Bilateral trade. The Russia have exported a lot of oil and gas to the China, and China is hungry, energy hungry. Okay, so definitely some kind of there is a good thing. Okay, but when it comes to the tackle the pressure of international Western pressure, I mean, what international pressure, the Western pressures, both nations are showing solidarity to each other. I was thinking about Mr. Xi Jinping also said, let me complete it. We jointly support, Mr. Xi is saying that we jointly support the development of a more just multipolar world order and work to ensure indivisible, indivisible security in Eurasia and the world. That means there is two things. China is world power, he is saying, and indivisible security of Eurasia. Okay, that means he is growing his influence in Eurasia. Eurasia means complete Europe and Russia and everything, excluding the Indian plate. It is a geographical term. Okay, Eurasia is a geographical term connected to geography. Okay, so India is Indian plate rested on. Okay, so you have to Indian plate. You must have to out of India, keep India out, and talk about the Eurasia. Okay, this very clever term he used, Mr. C. Hmm? And very good. Okay, do they think that India would be singled out? Being as immediate neighbor, how can they forget India? Hmm? But India's alliance and India's approach to the West, the way India is approaching, is a little bit annoying the China and Russia both. Okay, but Russia is some degree digesting India's approach, but China didn't. Okay, so let me see that. Let me tell you, my friends, I was thinking about India's interest. Why Mr. Jaishankar is in first row in Mr. Trump's inauguration? There is a reason for that. India's interest is very much aligned with the Western countries. We have democratic common values and free society. Okay, India is a free society, free society, completely free society, a democratic society, completely free. Okay, there is no doubt about that. Okay, and we have English speaking, largely English speaking people, well skilled, and democratic values, alliances. And India's soft and ethnic and cultural values actually makes Indians acceptable into the Western society. And that doesn't mean that Chinese or when Indians go into China, they are persecuted. Russians are very loving people. I don't mean that. Okay, because Russian are speaking largely Russian languages. Okay, so there is less alignment for that. Okay, but people love to go into the democratic nations and in English speaking, because in India English is a very common language, just like people speak of their or a native language. Okay, so that's actually language actually gives a comfort, gives the people comfort to connect. Okay, Baki things is rest things is very common, and thank you very much. Multi alignment, because multi aligned, my interest is India's interest is multi aligned, our diaspora, or but definitely some degree multiple non-aligned policy of India have undercapacitated India, and but yes, multi-alignment is very fruitful, okay, and rational and practical. Cannot be kept out of the international system. Okay, non-aligned, that means that sometimes looks like you are out of the international political system. Okay, so aloof and alone, living and going is not the fruitful things. India do understand that. That's why we have adopted multi-alignment, because our interest is multi-aligned. So thank you very much. These few keywords actually, say something in itself. Thank you very much, my friends. I have to also. I'm going to little bit study about China-Russia relationship. So thank you very much.